The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has strongly denied that his country is carrying out genocide against ethnic Uyghurs in Xinjiang. He made the denial at China's annual parliamentary session, in which he also addressed US-Chinese relations. Stephen McDonnell reports from Beijing.
Once a year, China's foreign minister holds a highly staged press event on the sidelines of the National People's Congress. Wang Yi used it today to attack the United States for bringing chaos in the name of spreading democracy, and said there was no room whatsoever for compromise when talking to Washington regarding Taiwan. He did, however, say that his country could work with the Biden administration on climate change and the coronavirus if the US removed unreasonable barriers to cooperation. Asked about claims there'd been genocide in the Xinjiang region, he said this was a rumour with ulterior motives and a complete lie.
The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi.
A leaked email suggests that the United Kingdom is planning to slash aid programmes to the developing world as part of government cuts of billions of dollars in its foreign aid budget. James Landale reports.
The document, dated last month, suggests officials are considering cutting aid to Syria by 67% and Lebanon by 88%. It suggests aid to Nigeria could be reduced by 58%, Somalia 60%, South Sudan 59%, and the Democratic Republic of Congo by 60%. These figures are of the same scale as the 50% cut in aid to Yemen announced this week. The Foreign Office said it was still working through what the aid reductions meant for individual programmes, and no decisions had been made.
The President of the Dominican Republic, Luis Abinader, has announced plans to build a wall along its border with Haiti, which extends for nearly 400 kilometres. Relations between the two neighbours have been historically difficult. Leonardo Rocha reports.
Mr. Abinader said the barrier would help reduce illegal immigration, drug trafficking, and the flow of stolen vehicles between the two countries, which share the Caribbean island of Hispaniola. He said construction of the barrier will begin in the second half of the year. The Dominican Republic has a much stronger economy than Haiti, which is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere and is currently going through a serious political crisis. 500,000 Haitian migrants are estimated to live in the Dominican Republic, and most of them are there illegally, facing the threat of deportation.
The United Nations says the security forces in Myanmar have killed at least 18 protesters in their bloodiest attempt yet to end demonstrations against the military coup. The UN Human Rights Office said it had credible evidence that more than 30 people had been wounded in nationwide protests. Widespread posts on social media showed unarmed people lying motionless and protesters bleeding after they were confronted with live ammunition, rubber bullets, stun guns and water cannon. The head of the UN agency in Myanmar, James Rodehaver, condemned the violence used against peaceful protesters.
What the actions of today show is that there was a decision taken to start using force, deadly force, because you have suddenly protests where the police had acted with at least some degree of restraint. They had resorted to the use of force. In previous days, there had been sporadic use of live rounds, but today suddenly in many locations you have the use of deadly force, and we see the results.